As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with my co-host is just joining me.
I think I'm just
There she is. I can hear you now. I can hear you, but I can't see you. What's up with your video, co-host? Okay. So while we're waiting for my co-host to kick in, I'm going to talk to you folks a little bit. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I haven't heard from you guys in a while. You know, I was in the hospital there for a little bit, guys, taking care of some medical stuff. So that's why most of you have not seen or heard from me. But my trusty co-host, she took care of business. She was making sure all the shows were aligned and shows were broadcast and everyone was able to hear what we had to say on the Business Zone. She played some shows with regard to black economy, and that's what we're going to talk about today a little bit, guys. We're going to talk about the black diaspora, how we can boost this economy, working together, generating revenues, generating income, and growing our communities. So that's pretty much what we're going to talk about here today, and we're going to do it on a global level. So we're going to do it from the Americas to the Caribbean to the African nations. So that's what we're going to do here today. And while we wait for my co-host to kick in, I just want to let you guys know we appreciate you guys so much, and your subscriptions, your free subscriptions, your views, your likes, and all of those things. We really appreciate it. And for those of you who are listening for the first time, this is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30. And what we do here on this podcast, guys, we provide information, service, and resources to small and micro businesses. We provide them information to help them to become business ready, contract ready, bank loan ready, and even nonprofit ready. So that's what we do. We're unique. We don't do what the other guys in the marketplace are doing. We do a lot better than them. That's what we do.
all right.
So here's my co-host. She got connected. How you doing, co-host?
I'm well. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
So I don't know what's happening. We got we got some stuff going on. Microphone has decided not to work right now, so we're not worrying about that.
hey
And
man,
then
the devil is always trying to work his hand to try to stop us, but they can't stop us.
yeah, always busy, always busy. So you
You
still
notice
ain't
I come to work today, right? I'm in my construction attire here, my safety vest and outfit here. I'm ready to work on this African diaspora.
it requires contractual construction here.
It requires a lot of work, a lot of construction. I'm all dressed for the occasion, Cole.
Okay, well, all righty. That's. I didn't realize it was gonna cause some heavy lifting, but okay, we're doing some heavy
I'm
lifting.
telling you, man, we got to do some heavy lifting. Getting our folks together and getting them unite to go after these global opportunities, man. It's going to take a lot of heavy lifting. So I'm ready. I'm reporting to duty. I'm ready to work.
As my friend Ian does. All right. Yeah, we so what when I called you and I talked to you, we were kind of deciding what kind of topics to speak on. One of the reasons I was excited was, and you'll love this, I we had someone on the community briefing yesterday,
Yeah.
and she actually uh, um, is the founder of an organization that's a bank. It's all called the Wakiza Fund, and I'm going to tell
Uh-huh.
you what that means in a minute. And that is why we're really having this conversation. So, the Wakiza Fund is Swahili for building wealth.
Mm-mm-mm.
And so she recognized that in other countries they don't have the luxury of participating in the stock market because um, the fees are so high. So at one point, neither could we because the commission fees were just outrageous, right? And so she built an app just for $1 a month. They can actually invest in the African stock market,
Oh, I like
which
that.
can actually build wealth. And
Mm.
so she is called Wikiza, as I said, and so it's a whole app. But here is the difference between, say, um, uh, um, Rocket Money and not Robin Hood and Stash is it is offered in 10 different languages across the African diaspora.
Yes.
And so that means you don't have to not be able to invest in any of the stock in those countries because you don't understand the language and you can't operate through the language. So that's how they formatted it. And she was just absolutely amazing. So that kind of and I asked her a question and she was talking about wealth and she was talking about the opportunities in on the continent of Africa, but even their people are not growing as wealthy as the country is.
Yeah.
And so my question to her was, so the way she was describing it sounded like they and we are in the same boat,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
literally on the same ship, even
Mm-hmm.
today,
Headed in the same direction.
headed in the same direction. And so I was asking her about the opportunities and what companies were offered on the stock exchange, and she was telling me, it's like, wow. So I said, so the question is, why are we not interacting with the diaspora? Why are we not here everywhere, everyone that's from the diaspora? Why
Mm-hmm.
are we not engaging in with each other in order to help each other? And so
Mm-mm.
that was kind of like, oh, this is we could help each other grow and become the people that we're supposed to be based upon us doing collaborative world global economics. So that is really what was driving this conversation today, and especially since this world, the world that we know and that we were born into, is in such a chaotic state that we have no idea what tomorrow looks like or the next day. So this, I think, is like a prime opportunity, Gilbert, for us as a people to branch out and march out across the world waters like our ancestors did when they migrated in all over the entire world. So, what's
I
your
think
thought on
I think we should invite her on the business zone so she can share more of that information and we could get the word out there, get more people involved because I'm definitely interested. If it's a stock market where we're investing in certain stocks, you and I already know some of the stocks that they have ready and available, which is oil, you know. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
it?
So
You
yeah,
ready?
if you could get her on the zone, man, if you could get her on the
Yeah, I
zone,
will.
let's
I will
do
get
it.
her on. And she's out of New York, and
Yeah.
and everyone that their bank, and it's a bank, their
Yeah.
bank works with are people that look like us. Every last one of the people that she says, their investor, their stockbroker, everything, they are truly living the recycling black dollar theory.
This
And so
this may
I was
be one of the
impressed.
biggest lottery winnings for us.
I thought you would say that. So I was very impressed, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, let me think how we're going to." So that's what we're going to do. And guys, a couple weeks when before we took a little break, we were talking about Marcus Garvey, and
Yes.
that was what our shows were about, was economics and Marcus Garvey and what he did globally.
Hmm.
And I think that same under that same principle, Gilbert, that is available to us today. And so when I was doing the story, I have something. So we were talking about the collective. We were excited about the fact that we actually could all collect dollars and reinvest and do so forth
Yeah.
and so on as a
Yeah.
collective, right?
Yeah.
So I got another initiative for you that's even bigger than that.
Hey, I'm all ears, baby. I'm all ears. Let me hear it.
So after we get off the show, I'll quickly tell you. But this is like this show today is the kickoff of
Yeah.
what we potentially could do on a bigger scale, not just the business zone, but courses and summits and things of that nature.
Yeah. That's great, man. I love it.
All right.
See, we have to pave the way. We cannot sit around and wait for other people to pave the way for us because it will never be paved. So like I say, man, I come ready to work. I'm in my attire, my construction attire here. I got my safety vest on. I am ready to start doing that heavy lifting. And I know
All
Pat's
righty
in the
then.
chat. She's ready to go too.
Yeah, because we sit there. If any of you guys are listening to the news, it is just, I mean, and it's just so much going on. If I was in another country, I might think this stuff was humorous, but since I'm not,
Yeah.
I
It
don't
sounds
find
like we're a third world country with all the stuff that's going on, right?
right, like
That is crazy.
a country that just got their government yesterday, and they're not quite sure how to use their government, as opposed to having just celebrated 250 years as a country. I mean, as a, oh, not a yeah, well, Declaration of Independence, 250 years. We just did that, and
Yeah.
it's the kangaroo court. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's insane.
Oh Lord.
So I think we as a people can definitely do some things that's a little bit different,
Yeah.
and um, I think we must do some stuff. So we're gonna educate today and lay it all out for everyone, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna have a call to action
Hmm.
to say, hey, this is what we actually can do for us. You know, we can't keep worrying about other people and how we fit in with the landscape with the other people. We go take care of ourselves first. Or there's a meme out there go, what about yourself, mama? Oh, I think it was a little boy telling his mother. She was saying something to him. He go, "Worry about yourself, mama. Worry about yourself." So that's
You
what we're
know,
gonna do.
our our ancestors, they took the ball in their own hands, and they started paving the way for us back in the 1915 all the way to like 1923, 25, when they destroy Oklahoma City, Greenwood, Oklahoma. So that's what they were doing because they weren't about to let somebody else pave the way for them. So it's the same thing with us, and many other cities follow suit. And Garvey, he also promoted that ideology. It's called Garvey economics. And you see other African nations around the world, they were adopting that. They had over 6 million strong, man, 6 million people who subscribe to that philosophy, the Garvey economics. So we can further that. And like I say, I've seen quite a few programs out there in the marketplace and in our community, but the one that's most closely aligned with the Garvey economics is the one you do, the one you run, recycling black dollars. I don't think people really understand what recycling black dollars are about, what the purpose is, what the goal is. So maybe you should enlighten them again, co-host. Let them know about how long that dollar stays in our community.
Not long, like 6 hours. So a very short period of time. It doesn't get to go. It doesn't go. It doesn't get to walk blocks. It only walks from your employer's building to your bank. That's about as long as the walk is. So if the walk is next door or downstairs, then the walk is even shorter.
So from 10 to 4, that's how long does the
That's
dollar
10 to 4.
last.
If the bank is in the building, then it's probably some 10 to 12 when you go to lunch. But if
Oh,
it's a little bit
Lord.
further away, you get to get in your car and you might get to drive a couple of blocks to get to the bank.
That is
So
crazy.
it's not
That
very
is
far at
crazy.
all. So that's we got to do different. So
Yes.
I think, Gilbert, this could be one of the, we've been having this conversation, but we've been walking around this conversation. So I
Yeah.
think this topic may be one of the strongest ones that we've actually had that conversation. And it's not about politics, not about being grievous of anything. It's about what I taught for 3 weeks with the little darling kids that I was with,
Little darlings.
the little darlings. It's about opportunity. And that's what the kids and I talked about for the first couple of days of biz camp was being able to to spot a opportunity and then activate on that opportunity. So that's what I say. This is an opportunity for us to change and intentionally build a global economic ecosystem, but not just with us, but with everyone in the African diaspora. So that's inclusive of the United States. That's Europe. That's North America. That's North America, South America, Europe, um, all of the Caribbean islands in between that, because there's a person that looks like us all over this planet, and so we should be doing business all over this planet. That's what
And
I say.
you know what I'm thinking also, co-host?
Mm,
Even if they don't look like us, even if they're not one of us, they can participate as well. If they're non-black, non-minority, they can participate as well. Uh, we only see green right now. You know, the money's green. So if you want to invest in our cause, our programs, please do so, so we can strengthen our
right.
approach and spread it across the world on a global level.
And it's,
This, this
and all this time while things have been going on, other countries, China, have all been working with and participating on the African continent. So why the heck aren't we there, right? So
yeah,
you're right. It's
yeah,
green, and everybody else has been participating in that landscape, but the
yeah,
people that really should be
yeah.
participating in that landscape. So that's kind of what our show is about today: is how we as entrepreneurs can actually do business across the globally, specifically in the African diaspora, and how we can build wealth without borders.
Yep.
Because with the internet and all the things, if everyone else seems to not have a problem with doing business in other countries, why are we the only ones having the challenge with doing that? Because everybody else seemed to be just they made their way through it. So that's what we're going to talk about. But before I do that, Gilbert, I just got to tell you about the babies.
Yes,
They
yes.
were
Tell me about the
awesome.
babies.
Oh, they were awesome, Gilbert. Hey, Patricia, how are you? We had about 38 kids,
38?
and
Holy moly.
38
The
kids.
number increased.
The number increased. I had about 25 in my room, and Rhonda had about 12 or
13.
13 in yeah, in her room, and I got no t-shirts,
Oh,
and
wow.
I got no lip gloss, and
Wow.
I had only one that was going to do a clothing line. Other than that, I had from creating a water infiltration device
Yeah,
so that they could use storm water for
yeah,
other purposes. It's probably the biggest. I had a young man that is his grandmother started a restaurant, seafood, ceviche. Is it ceviche? Ceviche?
Ceviche.
Ceviche. And
Yeah.
his father's been running and have a food truck. And at 13, he started working with his dad. And his goal now is to be able to learn how to run a business, take over his father's business, and have his own a fleet of food trucks that sell ceviche. I don't eat shrimp. It's all seafood. That's what the whole everything they do. So I don't eat shrimp. So I couldn't. But my sister, oh,
Yeah.
she like killed herself over that stuff. She can't
So
even
this is purposeful entrepreneurship. See,
purposeful.
that's great, man. I love
Purposeful.
it.
So he was great. I had a someone that wanted to do a job app, someone that was going to take their personal designs and put it on at high level athletic leisure wear, beautiful stuff. It was they were really good, and they just kind of jumped in there, and our host was Alliance O'Donnell, Ochi O'Donnell, which is right not too far from my house. So I literally was 7 minutes away from the location that I had to
Hmm.
be at for 3 weeks. It had a nice, uh, it was a nice area. The kids could go out and play basketball, which they did. And we had our own space, and they've invited us to come back and start a business club for kids.
That's
So
great, man. That's
that
great.
was my
I'm happy to hear that. That's a great sense of accomplishment. And then they competed, right? They did a competition.
they did a
And,
competition.
and what happened? Tell me what happened
So
there.
our first place winner was Alex with the seafood ceviche.
Oh, he won.
He won. Our second place was Roberto
Uh-huh.
with his water infrastructure type of platform.
Right.
And he's serious as a heart attack, man. He was on phone call. He was making phone calls while he's building out his presentation,
Yeah.
and to other companies and asking how they could help him. I was so impressed with this young. You'd be so impressed with this young man. And then we
Wow.
had our third prize was a young lady that was creating a platform for those that have no idea what to put together and how to wear it. You know how to put outfits together for every occasion. And
How about the one that did the glasses thing, the glasses finder? How about that one? She didn't
oh no,
participate?
she's away this summer at
Oh.
a business camp, not ours, but a business camp. Learn creating her prototype.
Oh well, man. I'm gonna be one of the first people to purchase that, man, because I tell you, sometimes I put my glasses some places I can't find it. And also that invention, it's not just gonna be for glasses, it could be for your wallet, it could be for your
Everything.
keys. So that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, right. So I'm excited about her too. But no, she was actually making the prototype because she wants to be ready to go to marketplace.
So did she file a patent yet on it?
That's what they're walking her through the whole process while
Okay.
she's away. She's at Berkeley. No, she
She's
ain't at
where?
no.
She's where?
She was up at Berkeley doing this event.
Oh, so she's surrounded by brain power.
Right. She went to the real deal. So that's where she is. Her parents paid for her to participate in this workshop, this cohort for the summer. She should be
That's
back home
great.
next week and she's still there. Um, and then we had a young man. We actually gave away four prizes this year. We had two third places. And so one was a young man that is creating a soccer club. And, soccer is really popular right now. Have you been catching up
Yeah.
with the FIFA? So he wants to have his own club. So that was his business. So just some great ideas, to be quite honest. I was very impressed with these kids.
You know what's amazing,
I'm going to
co-host?
try to. Mm,
You know what's amazing? Soccer was introduced to the US in the 70s, right?
right.
Nobody batted an eye. Nobody said anything. Everybody They speak ill about it. Oh, yeah, that sport is boring. It's too long, and the score is not high enough. They complain about everything about it. And now look at it. It is such. I haven't done the research to see how much this World Cup has brought in for the American economy, but the hundreds of millions, I'm sure they've generated so far. You see what I'm saying? Because all of the stadiums sold out in Los Angeles, sold out in Carson, sold out in Santa Clarita, in Atlanta, in Miami. All of those places sold out. We're talking about stadiums that can fit, 60,000 or more people.
Right.
Unbelievable, man.
Right.
Unbelievable.
I mean, we've never been really involved in. I mean, our sport is football and basketball and
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah.
Soccer was, it was there. It's like rugby, right?
See, see, this is another thing that we're talking about right here, co-host, about the African diaspora and the global economics. See, folks need to stop being closed-minded about how income can be brought in, because if they're thinking only of the sports they know and not thinking of others, see, when we do research, we study trends and activities and purpose and why people do things, right? So
Mhm.
even if it's something you don't like, study it and see how well people, because this country, right, 345 million people,
Yeah.
most of us are foreigners. Okay, most of
Yeah.
us are foreigners. Most of us come from a country that plays soccer, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you have most of your people from countries that play soccer, why wouldn't you want to think about participating in that? You see what I'm saying? It makes no sense to me. And that's what we're trying to do with the people in our target demographics that we're going after in terms of participating in the African diaspora and the global economic ecosystem.
Hmm.
We want people to expand their minds and stop thinking about only what they know and look at things that can, like, for example, that lady you talked about. Whatever she's presenting, we don't know much about it. It's about a different type of ecosystem, but I'm interested because it seemed like an opportunity that we can generate some wealth from, you
Right,
know?
exactly. And it opened up opportunities for people who did not didn't have this. So they, again, like I with the kids, I had them identify a problem. That's the very first step in my business
Yeah,
class is
yeah,
identify a problem, and now let's go find a solution and then build a business off of that. That's the opportunity. And
yeah.
so and they got it, the kids got it, and that, yeah, that's what she did. She saw that, a country that is the country itself, the continent itself, not the country, the continent itself probably represents, I would say, probably about 75% of the wealth. If you're looking at the gold, the minerals, the whatever, that continent itself produces pretty much all of that, and everybody has taken advantage of it, except for the been and utilize it to build and grow their country's wealth, but left that continent just needing, the people needing. And
Hmm.
so that's what we're talking about today, that collaboratively we can help each other. But you're absolutely right. uh, I bet you whenever, I don't even know when the World Cup seems like it's been going on forever, but I don't
Yeah.
know when it stops. But I do tell you, I will bet you anything, people will be completely connected to it here in this country afterwards.
It's gonna end. The final is gonna be on the 19th. So the
Okay,
19th,
is
today's the
Sunday.
17th. So the
So
19th is in 2 days.
right, 2 days.
So, this is really a missed opportunity. And my mentorship program that I run, I say this over and over and over to the proteges in it, and I don't think they're paying attention to me because we've been talking about the FIFA World Cup, right, for a long time now. In many of my promotions, we talk about how we want to prepare these businesses to access the FIFA World Cup. Not one of them was involved in the FIFA World Cup. Not one. Not one of them was a consultant. Not one of them was a vendor selling products and services. Not one of them checked out the city's website to see what they offer in connection with the FIFA World Cup. Not one. So this was a missed opportunity for all my proteges in my mentorship program. Now, the second, in life, most of the times we only get one bite at the apple.
Yeah,
they're getting a second bite on this apple in 2 years because the Olympics are coming. So let's see if they're going to fall asleep and do the same thing that they did with the FIFA.
And let me give you some stats. So the global audience, Gilbert, were stretched into billions of viewers worldwide. In individual powerhouse region alone, nearly 200 million viewers in China, just over the first 11 games. Wow. In the United States, viewership in the U.S. hit record highs with peak matches like the U.S. and Belgium with over 30 million viewers.
So 30 million in the U.S.?
In the U.S. Wow. The quarterfinal milestones broke records in the most watched in history, averaging roughly 25 million viewers combined per match across English and Spanish broadcasts on networks like Fox Sports and Telemundo. In-person and fan festivals, those beyond those watching at home, more than 6.2 million spectators attended matches live in the stadiums, while another 7.7 billion fans watched together at the official FIFA fan festivals. That is how many people participated.
So you see what I'm saying right here, co-host? If just a fraction of our small businesses participated in that FIFA World Cup, do you see how they'll be blessed? How much revenues they'll be bringing in? They probably would have been brought in more than their annual revenues for last year alone. Right. You see what I mean?
Right, exactly. You probably wouldn't even have to work anymore.
They wouldn't have to work anymore for the rest of this year. and see, this is what I've been saying, preaching, and people are not listening, co-hosts. They're not listening, man. This was such a great opportunity, and I kind of push many of my proteges and say, okay, what are you doing for the world? I go to the city's website and I couldn't find anything. I'm just not interested. I'm going, what? Life is not easy. Achievement is not easy. There will be challenges. There will be barriers.
Right. And recognizing opportunity. That's what we're doing. So that's what we're talking about today. We do not want you guys to continue to sleep. We want you to wake up. And we want us to be able to take opportunities, recognize opportunities, and really be able to participate so that we can change our economic status. Because here's the deal, guys. What is talking right now is money.
Exactly.
That's what's talking. We need to be in a position where we have it. So we can talk, we can join the conversation. Because right now, we are so far back from the conversation because we don't have that. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about is we can literally, Gilbert, reshape the future of Black entrepreneurship around the world.
Exactly.
And it's not, we're going to show you some how-tos. So you'll see that it's not that challenging to make this happen, but we do have to get out of our comfort zone. And we're going to have to open up our eyeballs, as Gilbert said, and we're going to have to see that when it comes to making money, the color is green. That's it. That's all the color is green. And so we're not just doing business in the city that you live in the state you live in, but we're talking about, and even the country, and most of us we don't even do business across the country. We may do a little bit in the state, but not across the country. But we're also saying all of the country, and then come out of our neighborhoods and go to other countries, go to the Caribbean. All these places have needs. The Africa, South America, all these places, Europe, they have needs. And here's the interesting thing for those that actually travel: what other countries don't necessarily have are systems. So we don't even
Mm,
understand what we have here and what you had in Jamaica, right? There the
mm,
same systems in Jamaica that we have here to make like to go pick up your mail,
yeah,
to get any government documents or whatever. All ours is like a phone call away, or now
yeah.
just internet away. So are those same things are not in a lot of the Caribbean countries?
It's not the same. It's a different approach. And I'm thinking, I keep saying this over and over. Our approach to this is teaming, guys. Contract providers, they want small businesses to team up. They don't want to award a contract to a single small business. They want to do it to two or more businesses where you guys can team up and you guys bring different skill levels and different resources to the table. That's what contract providers want to see. And they're awarding contracts only to those types of businesses that are teaming up. So if folks like to work alone, they don't want to work in teams, then this program is not for them. It's not for them. This is a new wave. This is where we're going. The contract providers want to see teams. They want to see teams bring different capacity to the table. And that's what I've been saying. Small businesses, guys, listen, I'm looking at the camera right now. I'm speaking to all of you guys. You guys got to wake up. You got to stop being lazy. I would say most of my entrepreneurs that I see out there are pretty lazy right now. And I want to challenge you. I want to challenge all of you entrepreneurs to prove to me that you're not lazy. Prove that you're not lazy by participating. You don't have to participate in my program. You don't have to participate in my co-host's program, but get in a program that can prepare you and provide you access, give you an edge to get in on some of these opportunities. Most of you guys missed this opportunity with the FIFA World Cup. Most of you did, because I can't recall any small businesses that got any contract opportunities for the FIFA. You see what I'm saying? Think of all the things they could be doing. They could be selling food products and all of that. That didn't happen. Now you got 2 more years, a second bite at the apple, guys, for the Olympics to be here, the Olympics. And it's going to be in most of the cities around here in Los Angeles and LA County. And if you guys cannot participate in that, you don't deserve to be in entrepreneurship, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be a wow. So
Wow.
we got some great guests. So we got some great people that are in our chat. So welcome
Yes.
to Azette and Pat and
Welcome,
Mr.
Izette,
Daniel.
Pat, Daniel. Appreciate you guys joining us. This is amazing. And if you have any questions, put those questions in the chat because we're embarking on a different type of journey here, guys. We're trying to help folks to not only help themselves, but to help others in their community, others in their business, and others in their family. That's what we're trying to do here.
Right. So we're broadening horizons is what we're doing. Broadening some horizons. So Gilbert, you ready to kick us off with the first
Oh, oh,
conversation
oh,
that we're gonna have? I got a
oh,
whole presentation right here. So as we start talking, I got slides to accommodate.
oh yes, oh yes. So as we know, we're covering segment one right now. As we know, you know, we're looking at one diaspora with many nations and shared purpose. One diaspora, one big entity, many nations getting involved. So if you're an American entrepreneur and you want to participate, like I said to you before, You don't have to be a minority. You don't have to be black. You don't have to be brown. You don't have to be a different color. But what I'm saying is, as long as you have that spirit, that purpose, and that objective to grow economic wealth for your business and your community and your family, you want to participate. So we're looking at one diaspora, many nations, shared purpose. Now, when people hear the phrase African diaspora, they often think about culture, think about music, food, language, history, and those are all important. But today, I want us to think about something even more powerful. I want folks to think about commerce, money, money changing hands. And the hands that the money is changing should be from your hands to people within your community or people within your circle or someone close to that. That's how I want you to think of it. So we're thinking of commerce, we're thinking of trade, we're thinking of investment, like my co-host mentioned earlier, that there's someone we're going to bring on this show as a guest that will show us how we can invest in that African diaspora, the stock markets, and their money market ecosystem. We're looking at ownership, guys. Ownership. That's one of the biggest things that I want entrepreneurs to do. I don't believe in 9 to 5. There are some people out there who believe in 9 to 5s. And I've coached a lot of youngsters, young entrepreneurs. And I tell them, listen, you're in school right now. And I'm not telling you to not to complete school. But what I'm saying to you is, when you're in school, you could advance to the level of a 2-year community college level where you learn some trades, some skills, and you're going to learn some formal business acumen as well. But you want to take that and branch out into entrepreneurship. Now, if you're trying to be a lawyer, a doctor, or, a teacher or something to that effect, I get it. You're going to want to go to school for 8 to 12 years so you can get that PhD. I get it, right? But if you're not looking to do any of that, guys, I want you to think about entrepreneurship. You cannot get rich working for someone else. You cannot. It doesn't happen. I've been around for a long, long, long time, many decades, right? And I've never heard of anyone who got rich working for somebody, unless you are the CEO of Chase Bank or one of those places, right, where you get this big old golden parachute of millions of dollars. That's the only way, right? So entrepreneurship, ownership, innovation, those are the things that I want you guys to focus on when we talk about this African diaspora ecosystem. Now, because throughout history, economic cooperation has been transforming communities. Economic cooperation, guys. And, we talk about the swap meet, co-host. A lot of folks don't even know the history of the swap meet, how it got started. The swap meet got started because way, way back in the day, a lot of our foreparents, that's how they used to bring their goods and products to the marketplace. They had a marketplace where people would get together and they would say, okay, I need some rice, but I don't grow rice. So let me give this person some meat and see if they'll exchange that for some rice. Mm-hmm. Or they'll say, hey, let me see if I can exchange my meat for some furniture or something to that effect. That's how the swap market got started, because people used to exchange. They call it swap, because you're swapping your products and services for something else that you don't have and something that you want. That's why it's called a swap meet.
Exactly. You didn't have currency.
If you didn't have currency then.
You were actually exchanging. So what you didn't have, somebody
Yes.
else provided, and what they didn't have, you provided. So,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. So that's how we're trying to embark, and we're trying to revisit that, because if we try to revisit a lot of the things that got started a few centuries ago, I'm telling you we can be in a much better position. And that's what I'm trying to share here with our audience, share it with our entrepreneurs, share it with our mentees, and for those of you around the world who's watching this podcast today, I want you guys to know you can reach out to us. You can reach out to my co host, Coach Crystal Mitchell, or you can reach out to me, Coach Gilbert Buchanan, and I'll put my contact information and she'll put hers in the chat as well. Reach out to us and let's see if we can get you guys started, because not only do we talk about this, but we help to prepare you. We prepare you to take this on. And when we prepare you, we don't just talk like, those classroom professors. They talk. They don't own a business, but they're telling you how to run the business, right? What
Yeah.
we do is we own actual businesses, all right? We own businesses and we're sharing those resources with you.
Right.
You know, all of the mistakes that we've made, we're sharing that, hey, you don't make those same
You don't
mistakes.
make those mistakes. You make some new ones, and then you can share those back with us, and then we can share
Exactly.
those back out for you. But you don't have to make the same ones we had, and that is the beauty of having a network of people that do the same thing you do as entrepreneurs. Because everybody,
Exactly.
we all have to learn from each other, and so with that, Gilbert, that kind of segue into our next segment. So here,
Yeah.
guys, just imagine for a one moment, you release all of your fears. You are not afraid to do business outside of the neighborhood, and you are going to venture out. So we all live, everyone lives, many people live on different continents. Some of us have family members on different continents. I have a daughter and a grandbaby on another continent. Gilbert has relatives in Jamaica, and I'm sure a number of you that are listening today have relatives. Now, what you do when they live in another country, because the American dollar is usually stronger, has been anyway in the past than other countries, then we send money to these relatives, right? So, but there's so much need in those
Yeah.
other countries. Like where my daughter is in Cairo, oh my God, there's so many limitations. I'll go, hey, oh yeah, you can't order that. Oh yeah, you can't go get to that big store. Uh, and she's got a baby, so I'm saying, oh yeah, run to the store and get some secrets for her sore throat, baby secret. No,
Yeah.
that don't exist there, right? So,
Wow.
so anything that I come up with, it doesn't exist there
Yeah.
because they're not,
The restrictions.
yeah. So things that we take for granted here does not exist. Going to the post office in Cairo is not an option for you. I can't mail anything. I have to get on a plane and take everything that I'm collecting over the year to her via plane. So just think about this. As entrepreneurs, as them being entrepreneurs, they don't have a Crystal and a Gilbert over there having this conversation, nor do they have tech, nor do they have technical assistant programs like we have with the
Yeah.
SBA. You out there doing a course, those things do not exist
Right.
in a lot of the other countries. So, um, so they're facing the same entrepreneur challenges we have,
Yeah.
but there are no resources or for them to be able to get that. So they can read about it. They can go on YouTube and try to figure it out. You guys go on YouTube and try to figure out how to run a business, and taking all the different segments from all the different people, and then you going out there and try to open up your business and see what happens. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they have limited access to capital. Do we have limited access to capital here in this country? For those that are minorities, difficult scaling businesses. How many of our businesses are actually have more than one employee or a part-time? Let's say part-time employee, because most of them don't have employees at all. But let's
Right.
say, how many of you struggle trying to figure out how you're going to scale your business by yourself,
Right.
which is literally almost impossible. um, finding international marketplace. I will guarantee you, Gilbert, the reason most people don't do business outside of this country is because what they've heard, which we've heard as well, how challenging that is,
Yeah.
right? And that was really before the internet. With the internet, a whole bunch of new opportunities. This is
But
my space. Hmm.
but see, the thing is, as entrepreneur, we're risk takers. So even though we know there are challenges and barriers, we still want to jump in and try to make that difference and make a change. You see what I mean?
Right, exactly. Building generational wealth. Is that a problem here with us?
Yeah.
Well, that's also a problem with other people in other continents, right? So their entrepreneurship journey is like ours, creating opportunities for young people. So you
Mm-hmm.
guys know every year I do this biz camp in the summer, and the reason we get so many people is because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah.
So limited, are very limited opportunities for creating, for helping create entrepreneurial young people, and now older people, the ones that have gone to college, incurred tremendous amounts of loans. They can't even find a job,
Right.
let alone how to start a business. So, and they weren't taught how to start a. Were you taught how to start a business in college, Gilbert?
In college,
Yeah.
I kind of tinker with it, but I didn't have the knowledge and know-how to do it. You know, the professors, they were just talking around the subject. They're reading from books and they're telling us what the books say. But you know, when you in actuality, that would not help us or get us anywhere.
Right, exactly. So college programs, unless you're in the entrepreneur program, and that's what I did, but unless you're in that, you learn how to work, how to be an employee. That's what you
Yeah.
go, right. There's some other wonderful benefits about being going to college. Learning how to be an entrepreneur is not one of them,
No.
but there are
No.
other benefits and opportunities for you, and that's why you do that. So
Right.
all of the things that I said above sounds familiar to those of you that are in Los Angeles, those that are in Chicago, those that are in New York, those that are in Atlanta. If you're trying to go out there and venture into the entrepreneurial world, you all have encountered these challenges right here, or barriers, as Gilbert says, but they also have them in Kingston. They also have them in Accra. They also are in Johannesburg. They're also in London. They're also in Germany and France and Italy. Everywhere around the world, they have the same challenges we do. But we have certain other opportunities and benefits that they don't have.
Right.
So now back over to you, Gilbert.
And a big part of the advantage that we have is that we have that formalized way of doing things. And I'm not just saying that because we're here in the US, we're superior or anything like that, because I'm sure there are entrepreneurs in different countries that they may have certain unique ways of growing a business, scaling a business, bringing products to the marketplace, and all of that stuff, which we can learn from too. You know, I would love to immerse myself in a certain community, entrepreneurial community in another country, see how they do things, you know, how they go about it, how they reach people, how they market, you know, how they do their case studies and all of that. I would love to see that, you
Yes.
know, because that would be amazing. You know, I can think of it and say, wow, you know, I never thought about that part, and you know, and then include that into my approach as well. So, because we bring different strengths to the table, guys, we did bring different strengths, and this is how I look at it. Okay, you, we all have two hands, right? And on each hand, we got five fingers. Each of those five fingers play a different role. Each of those five fingers play a different role to our body and our lives. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so what we want to do is we don't want to make this mistake that, you know, we're assuming that they all bring the same thing to the table, because that's not the case. It may look similar, but it shouldn't be the case. And again, I'll use the hand again as an example. Each finger serve a different purpose, and that's why we're able to wear a glove. We're able to hold things. We are able to punch. We're able to serve someone. All of those types of things with the hand, because these fingers all come together. See, if you didn't have all of these fingers, there's no way you could make a fist, right?
No,
Couldn't
you
make a
cannot.
fist.
I
Couldn't
get
make a
it.
fist.
I get it.
See, I like to think differently outside the box. So, so that's how I want us to look at this. In my mentorship program, when we find contract opportunities, I always pitch it to my proteges and say, "Hey, you guys think about teaming up on this contract opportunity. One person provides a certain service, the other one provides something else, the other one provides. And if there are five of you going to bid together on this, then each one of you will bring something different to the table. Like, for example, co-host, whenever I find opportunities out there, right? I try my best to bring you in, because what you do is you do accounting, bookkeeping, you do the CPA, the financial management, spreadsheet, summary, analyses. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I do some of that, that's not my forte. That's your forte. My
Right.
forte is developing the back office, developing the infrastructure, help you with your certification, help you to prepare you to go after government contracts, how to write the proposals, how to write your statement of qualifications, how to interview with the contract provider, how to pitch your skills and your resources, your value proposition, all of those things. That's what I do. So when Crystal and I come together, we're bringing different things to the table. And that's how I want entrepreneurs to start looking at this. Now, I don't expect you guys to go teaming up with every person you see out there in the marketplace. No, because not every person is a good partner. You don't want to just partner with anyone all willy-nilly thinking, okay, this is going to be a great partnership, and you know nothing about them. That person may have some bankruptcies. They may have liens on them. They may be wanted by the FBI. You
You
don't
might
know.
be trying to chase them down. Huh?
You don't know. So you want to check them out, do some background check on them. When you're doing business with people, the key thing is they got to enhance you. They got to bring value to you and the project. They should never embarrass you. Okay. So that's why you want to do those things. So that's what we're thinking of when we talk about partnership. Partnership happens because each person contributes something valuable and different. African American and Black entrepreneurs have developed incredible expertise in branding, storytelling, entertainment, professional services, digital marketing, consumer engagement, construction, project management, and some of the industries that people don't even talk about is like notary services.
Mm.
Notary services, some of my proteges, they are involved in live scan, fingerprinting and notary services. No one really thinks about that. But when you put together a proposal, you're going to need to notarize it, right? Before you submit it to the contract provider. So these are things that you need to think about, and they're projects that are available within municipalities like cities, counties, state, and they are looking for high level notaries.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have two notaries in my program, man, and they're very prepared. They're very prepared. I'm very proud of them, man. And they excite me every day. When I see the things they do, I go, dang, you know, it's just amazing, man. So those are the types of things we're trying to show differences, but how you bring those differences together, make them work. Now, African entrepreneurs are leading in innovation. And I'm not just saying this just to say this, guys, because if you go back in history and you look at post-slavery, 1865, even though we got the notification in 1863, but they never told us
We
about
didn't
it.
get the invitation. We got the notification. We never got the actual formal
We never got
invitation.
it. They got 2 free years of labor out of us. So at post 1865, a lot of the inventions that you enjoy today were created back then during that time. Just think about anything at all. And we know some of the basic ones, the peanut butter, the traffic light, the gas mask, even the video control, all of those
Everything,
things.
but in fact, today, and we were talking about that during Black History Month. Everything to do with AI, the
Yeah.
core of AI
Yes.
was invented by a Black person
Yes. Yeah.
and a woman. Most of it
Yes.
was from a woman.
Yes.
And so even that, and they always are saying, Black folks are not in tech. Yeah,
You're
right.
right. Even the
We
HVAC
invented
system
tech.
that we use in our homes and offices, heating, air conditioning, that was invented by a female. But the muckety mucks out there who were in control, they didn't want her to get any recognition. So what they did, they stole her ideas. And then when their construction projects, what they did is they took her idea, incorporated in their developmental plan, and put it out there as if it's a part of their project. But and then she was not allowed to patent any of those things anyway. Most of us were not allowed to patent. So
No,
they just quickly
it's a
and
law,
easily take our ideas and they pirated it and make money off it. But now it's a different world. Things are different. So yeah, so some of those things that are out there is really helpful. Agriculture, renewable energy, manufacturing, logistics, and mobile commerce. All of those things. You got Caribbean entrepreneurs. They've mastered tourism. If you've done some research on tourism, guys, you'll find that Jamaica is one of the is rated top in hospitality when it comes to tourism. It's that's just something that just happened. I
wow.
don't know why, but that's how it is. International services, creative industries, connecting cultures, all of those things, man. It's just an amazing thing. And just imagine all those strengths working together, guys. Just imagine. People like to say, "Oh, I'm strong and independent," but okay, who are you serving when you're strong and independent? Only yourself, nobody else.
Right.
So we throw that phrase out of the window. We're talking about, oh, we're strong and unified. That's what we're doing here. We're unified, we're working together, and we're trying to make this happen. What do you say about that, co-host?
What I say is, and when you look at what Black entrepreneurs here in America have developed their expertise in, look how our branding, our storytelling, our entertainment would intersect in with the Caribbean tourism, right?
Yes.
And making it worldwide around the country, around the world, right?
Yeah.
Some of the things that I think that America doesn't do as great as other places,
Right.
especially if you're in the hospitality industry, is hospitality, right? And
Can I
customer
share a
service.
quick story? Can I share a quick story with you, co-host?
Of course.
So when I was in graduate school
Uh-huh.
and we were doing international business, my professor said to us, what businesses do you think are still going to be around in 15, 20 years? And people were naming off all kinds of businesses. And then the professor said, okay, if you were to invest in any one of these businesses, which one would you invest in? And not one of the people in our class, had an idea what would be. And he suggested parking structures and parking lots.
Oh yeah.
Everybody started laughing. I don't mean parking structures. That's stupid. That doesn't make sense. Now look at it. Go downtown Los Angeles. Parking is premium. You can't find a parking spot. Or if you're going to a meeting and you're going to park in a building, you got to pay at least $45, for an hour or so. You see what I mean?
Everywhere.
Yes,
Everywhere you go, apartment buildings today are not being built with parking because they figure they put them on
they can
a
make
transit,
money.
and they made them on a transit line, so you don't need a car. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. In California, still, I mean, I know that's what they want, but
yes,
we've been conditioned a whole different kind of way, and that
yes,
different way is we need to have a car sitting at the curb to be able to get
right,
in with our key and be able to drive somewhere. Right now, it's going to take a minute for you
right,
to especially those over a certain age. You're not going
yeah.
to reprogram us to get on public transportation because it's not convenient. Walking out my front door and getting in my car at the curb is very convenient. And
And
will we pay for the gas?
another thing that he pointed out, right? He said, "Well, we're in the marketplace selling products and services, and the U.S. is good at doing certain things. Oh, look, we make televisions, we make this, we make that. But as the years go by, we recognize that we didn't make televisions as well as the Japanese or the Koreans.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So they figured that if they were to continue making, because the television that the U.S. was making back then was Philips, and there was another one, Westinghouse or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those were the televisions they were making, and they were inferior to the Japanese and Korean television. So because they couldn't compete, because the Japanese and the Koreans, they would just lambaste them when it comes to pricing. So they figured, okay, that's not our strong suit. Television is not our strong suit. We're stepping out of that market. Let the Japanese and the Koreans handle that. So the Japanese and Koreans, they've extended and expanded the television manufacturing. So now, they've gotten all these different TVs. You got LG, you got Samsung, you got all of those. Those are high quality television. The U.S. cannot compete with that, but the U.S. can compete in some other areas. So where they're
Exactly.
stronger than Japan and Korea. So that's how we got to look at the marketplace.
Exactly, because somebody are going to be, like, and they're also the top in technology, as far as your computers and
Yes.
and your parts, right? So that's how we actually, as Gilbert said earlier, we can work together so
Yes.
that we are almost need a matchmaking site
Yes.
where we're putting this business with that business from around, and how, oh my God, I can just
No,
I
that's a great idea, Coles. We should
I
do that
know,
with
huh?
these small
Don't y'all
businesses.
steal it because y'all heard it from here. Gilbert and I gonna be working on it. Don't be trying to
we
steal our ideas.
got to put together an NDA.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is, even though, I mean, technology and everything that we've been doing, everybody, why haven't we been doing it? And so here are some of the things. If we're going to have an honest conversation about it, how many times have you asked someone or told them about this new incredible opportunity, and they come back with all kinds of excuses and reasons why and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Well, that'll never work. All of this negative stuff. And so on the street corner told me that would never work.
Yeah.
And so the same thing happens here. Someone, we don't know each other, but somebody told us about somebody, and
Yeah.
then without us meeting these somebodies, we
Yeah.
made our own preconceived decisions about them. So then we start to stereotype. Oh, if you do business in Nigeria, everybody's a thief. They're gonna steal everything. Uh, um, you know, they make the quality of things made in China is inferior. Well, I'm sorry, but China makes everything that you buy here in the United States. I am so sorry if I'm gonna blow your little bubble there, because ain't nothing made in the United States. Everything is made in a
They,
factory.
they own everything we use, right?
Everything we use. So we inherit these misunderstandings and we carry them through forever. We pass them down to our children. Sometimes we simply never, and sometimes because we didn't shut ourselves off, we never have an opportunity to build relationships outside of our little area that we're in. And
Yeah.
we really haven't built many relationships there. So, um, for us to do business with other people, just like you said earlier, Gilbert, is it has to grow from trust. So Gilbert and
Yeah.
I trust each other immensely. I don't do I have a network of partners that I trust.
Yes.
But that was after observing and seeing how they did business, their philosophy, their integrity,
Yeah.
all of these things about them, what other people in our community are saying about them, that they all have their representative. And I like to say, and especially when I'm with my kids, when we get to the conversation about competition, everyone I know basically is a business coach or a consultant
Yeah.
in my professional world.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Am I threatened by that? No. Why? Because they all have their own expertise. And they're not Crystal. Crystal has her own way of delivering what she delivers and her own way of engaging with her clients. And if I feel that they need something that Crystal doesn't have, then I refer them over to Gilbert. Gilbert
Yeah.
has his areas of expertise. So all of these people that I know that are consultants, they all have their own areas of expertise. So we don't have a problem referring to each other
Right.
because we trust them and we've established a relationship with them, and we know basically we stay in our lane. And if there's
Yeah.
another lane that somebody we know is playing in, then we refer them over to that lane. If your customer is satisfied, they ain't going nowhere. If they with the core of what you do. So we have to begin. Trust is the beginning part of this conversation. Is
That
we
is
have to
true.
trust that, and you have to use your discernment that you're selecting people that you want to do business, whether it's here or out of the country. You want to do your due diligence, as Gilbert says, so that now you know, wow, this person has done tremendously well in their space. I see that there's some opportunities for me to help that I can also do well, and we can actually help each other. So that is what has to happen. We have to put past our differences and our little isms and then we have to say, you know what, there's so much limitation where I am. I want to go and see if I can broaden my opportunity somewhere else. And now let me do the work to figure out how. And with AI, that is not hard today.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
I'm pretty much transparent co-host. I recommend to people all the time before they do business with me, check me out. Do your research on me. See what I'm about. Because I know I'm a no nonsense person. I tell it like it is. I'm straight shooter. Some people may like that, some may not. Some may say, hey, don't do business with him. He's too harsh.
right.
you know,
He
but
not the grandfather type of guy. He the nuts
exactly.
and bolts kind of guy. He the engineering kind of guy. So you got
Yeah,
to operate on that engineering level. He likes to do
exactly. It's black or white. I don't deal with the gray areas, man. So that's how. So I recommend people, do your background check on me, before we team up, because and also I'm gonna have my teaming agreement that I'll present to you guys, and I'll make it very fair, because whenever you put together agreements, and if the agreement is one sided, then that's an unconscionable agreement, and that can be kicked out by a judge in any court. So I always try to make it as reasonable and as equitable as possible for both sides. Now, every successful international business relationship, as we know, it begins with curiosity instead of assumptions. You got to be curious. Okay. All right. So you're in Panama, you do these types of work. Let me find out about that. And how does it work? What's the population of Panama? How many people are buying this? What's the annual revenue from this type of product that you're selling? Those are curiosity questions that you want to ask in order before you get involved with someone, and then if you're really looking to team up with them, let's say you're doing a joint venture, because we went over this before, about a couple of years ago. We did joint ventures. So, and I think we should do it another show on joint venture co-host.
I think
But
so.
with joint ventures, guys, You always want to, everybody's bringing, honesty to the table. And then if both parties can agree and is willing to work with each other based on what they brought to the table, then that can become a joint venture. So those are the things we do. Then we have the joint venture agreements. Now, if somebody has bad credit, somebody has liens against them, they got warrants or things like that, you may not get the joint venture with them because it's going to have a significant negative impact on you and the business you're trying to do. So you're not going to do that. So these are things. That's why the curiosity is so important. You want to know about their business, their product, their customers, see how you can benefit, and then what value you bring. Remember, in every interaction, every relationship, you got to bring value. If there's no value that you're bringing, there's no need for you in that relationship. Right. Just remember that.
That's a win-win. For everybody.
Yes, got to be win-win. Got to be win-win, guys. So just remember that when we replace stereotypes with genuine conversation, partnerships become possible. And I was entering into a partnership with this lady one time, right? We're going to do some business with Edison. And she had done some work with them before, but she encountered some bad time, didn't file her taxes, IRS, put her on a payment plan and say, hey, slap her on the hand and said, don't you owe me like that again. Make sure you pay your taxes every year. Right. So before we enter into this agreement, she told me about it. She said, listen, I got to let you know, I got some arrears with the IRS that I'm paying on it right now. Now, she didn't tell me that, and I found it out when I did my research that I wouldn't trust her because I think she's not trustworthy because she never told me those things up front.
Right.
So when she told me that, I respected her even more because she told me, and then when I checked it out, I go, oh, this is not a big deal. Everyone owes taxes at some point. And as long as you have an agreement with the IRS that you're paying on it, then that's good. You're good. As far as I'm concerned, you're good with me. So that's what we did. So these are some of the types of things that we need to go through when we're talking about partnership. So we want to imagine some possibilities here, co-host. So let's dream for a minute.
This means everybody open up your mind.
Open up the mind.
What if?
Yes, what if there is an online marketplace connecting Black-owned businesses worldwide, a venture capital fund investing exclusively in entrepreneurs across the diaspora, international internships where young entrepreneurs could spend the summer learning in another country, with shared manufacturing facility, technologies, and exchanging of trade missions and all of those great things. What if that could happen? Do you think that would be an attraction for some entrepreneurs and some young people? What do you think, co-host?
I say yes. Those that are watching and that have access to the chat, would that be something you guys would jump on, or at least it would pique your attention? So we're asking you guys with those parameters in place, because we're in imagination world. We're like
we're in imagination world. So Pat, is it right? Daniel? What do you guys think? You think you'd be willing to participate? There's technology exchanges, trade missions. I've always wanted to go on a trade mission, Coles, to a foreign country. I've always wanted to do that.
That would be really, really cool. Yeah,
and that's something I definitely want to do. I'm thinking of certain countries, like the underdeveloped countries that's trying to get developed, like Vietnam, maybe the Philippines, countries like those.
Yeah.
And even Costa Rica, and see how what I do, how I could provide value to them, and how what they do could provide value to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Ye-
Pat says sign her up. Um, and you know me, and I've actually started mine. So
yeah,
international internships for young people to spend summers learning in other countries. So you know, my
yes,
kids compete on the international space, and the partners that we have that we utilize for our entrepreneurship program, they actually have international arms. So something that had a conversation that I've had conversations about, and I'm working with some people on in South Africa that are looking to take artisan interest or skill sets and create business platforms or entrepreneurship opportunities. So I've actually started looking into mines because I think we should
exactly.
be all doing world business.
Yes.
And in the space that you're in, there are so many opportunities. So for me,
Oh,
that
yeah.
would be a yes. Um, business accelerators, a yes, especially if the funding is already there, and
Yes.
and and,
Yes.
and there's people that are interested, VCs that are exclusively working with entrepreneurs across the diaspora. So
Yeah.
Daniel said yes, I would love to participate. Pat said yes. So okay, we got some open-minded people listening to us,
I
Gilbert.
love this. I love this. And see, the thing about this co-host, you and I have already established business accelerators. You know, we've built those, we've ran those, we've managed them, we've put them in operation, and we've measured the results. You know, we both do it. You're doing it with the BizCamp program you're doing. I've done it with my mentorship program and all the programs that I do. So we know having that type of expertise will definitely help if we go to another country to share. You already shared some of this with your South African friends, and you know they're willing to do that schools for the kids down there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
So this is just amazing.
And I actually just hooked him up with somebody else that was in Cape Town a couple weeks ago. And so they're having some real major conversations with this group because it is like the perfect fit for them. And
Yeah,
so they've met with them. So there's so many opportunities. So possibilities are just endless. You just have to think outside of the box and say, yeah, you know what,
yeah,
I'm open. You know, make a claim. One year I did this, Gilbert. Everything was a yes. I'm saying yes to everything if it's an opportunity in business, and that's what I did.
yes,
Yes to
yeah,
everything, and it was the most incredible year that actually has created what I do now. Making it fun and exciting. So my world is always about a yes if it's about business. You
oh, for
never
sure.
know what it can lead to if you don't ever have a sit down and have a conversation and at least test the waters to
Yeah.
see if it fits. But if you say no off the bat, then you'll never know that. So Pat says she is always travel ready.
I hear that. I hear that.
And
So
I think
how do we build it?
so. How do we build it, right? So now this is we're giving you the nuts, the why it didn't happen. Now we're talking about how do we build it. Well, first thing we're gonna do it together.
Yep,
That's the first thing.
yep,
So big visions, and this is what I tell the youth that I talk to. I tell them come up with a big idea. We can break it up in phases, in bite-sized pieces, so that we
mm-hmm.
can then deliver it so that the people that we're presenting to will get it. So this with phase one, this is where I am because I'm in school and I'm still a
Yeah,
kid. Phase two, I'm on my way to college and now I'm building and now I'm college, but I'm out and now I am ready because I've added on to that, right? So big
yeah,
vision becomes realities through practical steps, and those practical steps are through breaking it down so that you can do what you can do with what you have to work with, but you're always on the lookout for opportunities that can help you get to that next place. Start by building relationships before seeking the transactions. So
that's
here's the
beautiful.
best thing in the world about
That's
the internet.
beautiful.
The best thing is Facebook. You can talk to anybody in the whole entire world. LinkedIn, you can talk to anyone in the whole entire world. TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat, everywhere people are at your fingertips, and you can take and have your phone, and you even can see their faces when you talk to them, so you can see how their mouths work, and if it's what's coming out the mouth is also showing on the face. So
You, you know
there's
what's
no reason.
amazing? You know
What?
what's amazing, co-host?
What?
So I was trying to do some business with some Japanese businessmen, right?
Right.
And
Oh, you had some other opportunities in this year that you did some stuff with the Chinese too, didn't you?
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
So they don't just want to start doing transactions with you. They want to meet, have dinner with you, talk about family, your relationship with family, your relationship with the community. They want to see how you operate in that environment before they even think about doing any kind of business with you. And I love that.
Because I
I
may not
love
like
that.
you as a person. So I can't do
Yes.
business with you if I don't like you as a person. Or we don't
Yes.
share the same. If family's important to me and family is nowhere in the spectrum of your world, then I
Yeah.
probably am not gonna feel comfortable doing business because you won't know where I'm coming from. So
Right, right,
yeah,
right.
and they do that. Most people from other countries want to know who you are. They want to get they they're more about the flirt, and you know how you're doing the courtship. It's the
The
courtship. I gotta
courtship.
court
Right,
you
right.
before we actually start doing business, just like dating. I just can't jump in and say I'm gonna marry you tomorrow. I don't know
Yeah.
who the heck you are. So yeah, no, not gonna do that.
we don't know if you got a few days to live or not. We got to find that out too
Right,
before
exactly.
we commit.
Or you on the run because you got 19 wives. Yeah, I gotta find these things out. And it don't take more than a month.
And
So
see this approach right here, co-host, I think is so critical for what I've been trying to do for years now is to bring the brown and the black people together because
mhm,
I see them. They're both brown and blacks. They're going through the same struggles. They're hitting the same barriers, the same type of thing. And if we can bring that, we can unite that fusion, that group together. Think about it. 39% Latinos, 15% blacks. What do we have? We have 54%. That means we know the majority. See what I'm saying? So that's the kind of thing I'm trying to put out there to let folks know, hey, let's team up, and it may not be comfortable for you. You may not feel good about it, but think about the global impact. How are you going to help the community? How are you going to help family? How are you going to help economic development? So
actually,
that's what
exactly,
I'm thinking.
Gilbert. And of late in the last 4 or 5 years, this camp has, because we're marketing and people are literally finding us. They our camps have become very international, right? We have
Yeah,
a nice blend of everyone, and therefore they're sharing culture, and as kids they don't see color, and they just see people that they like or they dislike, and
yeah,
they laugh, they talk, and it's been absolutely beautiful. But we've had a lot of people that have sought us out. We're not even looking for them anymore, they're looking for us. So
yeah,
this is how we build relationships. We have to be out there. We have to do marketing of our business. We cannot be working in silos. We have to create a brand so people recognize that brand.
yeah,
I have my because of my daughter lives in Cairo. Her Egyptian family, because her father is from Egypt. They see me online all the time, and so they're like, when is she coming? I really want to meet her. She just talks about such great stuff, and I really like to be able to pick her brain to see how I can do X, Y, and Z. So that is how that stuff happens. You have to be out there with some exposure. And so, and then one thing for us is what we just talked about a few minutes ago with what's in it with Recycling Black Dollars is supporting black owned businesses from different parts of the world.
yeah,
Again, people are doing business on TikTok, they're doing it on Instagram. These people are not just here, they're all over the place.
yeah,
And it's just a matter of getting it to a FedEx or getting it to a DHL. They are paying for this postage, so you don't even have to worry about that. You can
yeah,
use drop shipping, and drop shipping have locations in other countries. So it's an easy deal for them. So think about that, guys. Attend international trade conferences. Now, it's interesting, Gilbert. Even before I came up with this conversation, I got a invite, or a friend of mine's reached out to me and said, "Crystal, would you like to go to an event on Sunday?" And it's an African event. I hadn't even heard about it, but again, I'm always in the yes mode.
Yeah.
And so I was like, sure. And I have no idea what I was going to be encountering, but I do know they're going to be talking about African trade. And so I was talking to my accountant, and he was saying he's bringing some documents to me, and he said, "Hey, are you going to be at that African event on Sunday?" Like, yeah, I am. Okay, I'll bring it there. So there's an African event. So of course I'm going to do our due diligence based upon this conversation that
Yeah.
we were having. And I hadn't even formulated it based upon that, but it
All
just
right.
hit me. So these are people, and you always want to be in different spaces. You never know who you'll meet in different
That's
spaces that
true.
are outside of your norm. Participate in virtual networking events, very effective. Even if you're taking a course like yours, Gilbert,
Yeah.
a lot of those people are all from
Yeah.
all over the world. And so
Yeah.
you have to, when you introduce yourself in the chat, to find out if there's synergy. One of the things that I do when I'm teaching, because I've noticed that it doesn't happen with the participants in a cohort, when they introduce themselves to me, I'm always seeing the synergy. And then I'll say, "Did you guys see the synergy with you and so and so and so and so?" And then I'll say, "You two need to exchange," because especially if I've coached them and I know what they need, it's like you need
Yeah.
to exchange information. And
Right.
also, if there are others in my network, I'm always willing to give that information to refer people. So, because you never know, things happen.
Yeah.
Travel not as a tourist, but a business explorer. But get out of your country, people. Get out
Yeah.
of your city. Go
Yeah.
visit. It doesn't cost that much. Literally, it cost me my airfare to Cairo cost more than my actual staying in Cairo,
Oh,
because
wow.
the American dollar is at like 49% of
Wow.
the Egyptian pound. So the
Mm.
conversion is outrageous. So
So you mean it's like what, 49 to 1 or
49 to 1.
oh, okay. Okay. That's
Actually, I think it's a little bit more. It might be 51. I think it's 51. When I
that's
send
good.
money to my daughter, it's if I send her $200, I'm sending her almost 9,000 Egyptian pounds.
Oh, wow.
Now on her side, that's expensive, but on my side, that's not. Like
Yeah.
$200, right? So learn each other's markets, find complementary skill sets. I'm always, when I meet somebody and I'm asking questions, and I'm asking pointed questions, because I want to see how they complement. That's how you and I met, right?
Yeah.
We found out our skills complemented each other.
Yes.
Create pilot partnerships.
I
Um,
love that. I love
the
that.
creative
Create
art of
pilot partnerships
yes, yes, yes. Give
because that's how you test to see if it will work, if the relationship will work.
mhm. If you jive, if you feed off each other, I mean, that's what happened to us. You can't podcast with everybody. You got to podcast with people that um that you can feed off of, so that you
Yeah,
complement each other.
that's
Success
true.
doesn't require perfection. Nothing is perfect, because unless you try it, it is not. I always tell business owners, I'm sure you do the same thing. Um, don't just keep working on the business in the beginning, because you won't know if it's perfect or not, because you don't have no
Right.
customers.
That's true.
How will you know if it's working?
That
And
is true.
if you don't take it out there in the market, how do you know it's gonna make money? You won't know that
That's
until
true.
you actually go out there. So
You
that's
gotta you gotta test drive it, put it out there in the marketplace.
right. So that's the last one. It requires movement, people. You gotta
Yeah,
move from your place of comfort to a
yeah.
place of uncomfort, being uncomfortable, but being open to what the possibilities are.
See, entrepreneurship growth is all about overcoming uncomfortableness. You got to overcome that. So, if you don't know or you don't have systems to put in place to show how you can overcome that uncomfortable feeling when you're trying to market to people you don't know, people keep telling you no. You go to the bank looking for a line of credit, no. Ask your family members to help you out. No. You talk to people who need they need your service because they have the pain in the marketplace, and you say, okay, I can solve your pain. No, we rather somebody else.
No.
So that's that uncomfortable feeling you're gonna feel, and you just got to be persistent. So I think we should do segment 6 and the others next week, next time.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. So, guys,
Yeah, I think
today,
this has been great, co-host. This has been wonderful. I think we share some valuable information. And as folks who listen to us know, they know we only bring value on this show. We don't just come out here and start talking smack or whatever. We bring value. And we expect the same from small businesses too.
exactly. And this is going to be a series because I think this is really where we need to be. I think
Yeah,
everything that we're talking about, it all culminates here. And
yeah,
so, in closing this, we a couple weeks ago we did before we took a little break, but we've been replaying the same segment. Is Marcus Garvey challenged us to think globally, right?
yeah,
And that's what Gilbert and I are doing now. Booker T. Washington taught us the value of economic independence. Madam C.J. Walker proved that Black enterprise could build extraordinary wealth. And
yeah,
we talk about that every Black History Month. Today's entrepreneurs have something that they have never had before: technology.
yeah.
That's instant communication. You can talk to anyone, anywhere.
Right.
We have proven global markets. We have tools our ancestors could only dream of. The
Yeah,
question is, will we use them to build together? So that is what we're closing out with today. And
yeah.
we're asking you guys to think about it and come back with us next week and ask and be willing and open to sharing wherever you're watching from. What country would you love to build a business partnership with? And then let's have that conversation. Let's make some connections. If any of you that are listening that have some expertise in this area or want to share, we'd love to have you as a guest to talk further about your personal experiences and how it has worked for you. If you have interest in wanting to do that, then let's go and let's explore that, guys, because this is an opportunity for every last one of us, and it will benefit every last one of us. So, with that, we just want to tell you guys it's been awesome. I think this was a great show. What you guys think that have been listening from Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn? I think Daniel is on LinkedIn. What do you guys think? Was this something that would at least make you walk away from this show today going, this is not a bad idea. I hadn't thought about that, and start doing your own research. That's all we want to do, is just to kind of open up that bubble, that light bulb, and see what ideas that you guys may come up with. But we do really truly have to think differently now. We have the tools that is going to help us connect. Business is going to unite us, and our future is ours. But it's only ours if we figure out how to bridge the gap and how we invest in one another, and then we create a community and opportunities that crosses every border. And then just don't hold it to yourself. There may be some opportunities for some other people out there, but just know whenever one person business succeeds, an entire global community also is moving forward. So just know that, guys. And so we hope that this has brought you guys some helping you think with your imagination and not just being closed off to what the status quo is, because in this world today, status quo don't look really pretty right now. It just looks really insane. So
And I just put my contact information in the chat, guys. So it's Coach Gilbert Buchanan, my phone number and my email address. Reach out to me if you have any questions, any suggestions, and recommendations, or if you guys just want to be a part of our program, our mentorship program, or whatever it is. But we got to start working together, guys. We got to start helping communities and help our families, because that's the only way this is going to happen. We
right,
cannot sit around and wait for somebody to come help us. Not going to happen.
Well, especially if you look around today, they done already told you they not gonna help you.
Yes,
They're like, I ain't helping you because I'm too busy helping myself.
yes,
So
that's right. And
just
Danielle,
saying,
thank you
guys,
for joining us, brother. Appreciate you.
yeah, please
Pat
come
and
back.
Izette, yeah, thank you guys for joining us as usual.
Yeah,
Crystal,
share
just
it
put our contact information in the chat, guys. Reach out to either of us or both of us if you want. And let's help to strengthen your business, grow your business, make it better. We can connect you with government contracts. That's my specialty. That's what I do, guys. Let's do this thing.
together. And so my contact is there. Please go over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you get an announcement when we actually are going to go live. And we just love to have you in the family. And we want to continue to grow our viewership and our subscribers. So please, if you're watching today and you have not done so, please jump right over to our YouTube channel, The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, and hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this particular show today, please hit the like button and share it with everyone that you know are been wanting to do something different but have been afraid because they didn't have all of the components, or they just didn't think about all of the stuff we spoke of today. We'll be back next week with some part two to this whole process, and we're going to break it down. We're going to bring us all together because we are all part of the same diaspora family. And
And
we
we're
need
going to share in that contract opportunities, guys. We're going to make sure that you guys get to access all these contracts, whether it's local municipality, the cities, the county, the state, or even if you want to check out federal opportunities, we've got to do that. Remember, you cannot get rich working a 9 to 5. It just won't happen. So the only way you can get rich is getting some of these government contracts, guys.
All righty, guys. I think, Gilbert, that will take us out for today.
Yep.
And we would love to see you guys back next week, and then go over to our YouTube channel. You can actually go back through the presentation. It will be over there. It's housed over there. It's also on LinkedIn. It's on Facebook. So with that, guys, have a fantastic weekend. Be safe out there, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
That's right.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.